What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Quantum Ascend. I have Polkadot up on the screen, the market cap on the left, the USD price chart on the right. Full disclosure, I don't own any, but it was a request from my group, so I figured I would blast it out here for the rest of you. Looking at this, why do we have the market cap up on the screen? Well, if you look going back to this top from April 2021 to the current price, that's only down 93%. That same exact measurement on the USD price chart, down 96%. So you see there's some kind of inflationary pressure on DOT. Now, I looked at it and all of the tokens are now on the market. But going back over this course in time, odds are not everything was released. That's what led to the inflation. More tokens coming into the market dilutes what's out there, right? So we have to use the market cap chart for our measurements. We'll then take that price, extrapolate it over here to the USD and find out what are our targets going to be for Altseason. So it's been a while since I touched on this one. It has set new lows since then. Therefore, I had to go back to the structure here. So what we're looking at certainly appears that it is a macro WXY correction here. All right. And taking out these new lows within that, you can see there was a 5-wave move, there's a 3-wave move, and then we have a complex WXY correction here in the Y. Now that WXY looks like a 5, 3, 5. So like a zigzag there in that finishing move there of the Y wave. So could this, I mean, this is the 3-day chart. Could this thing still venture a little bit lower? It certainly could, but I love where it's at right now from a macro support. We're right down here to where price stabilized initially after that inception candle. These inception candles can be a little tough. Typically in TA, it's tough to tell because they just, I mean, that's a couple weeks, you know, and it's still new being released onto exchanges. But if you look here, we are kissing those lows right now. So love that to be an ending and a spot for support moving forward. Again, there's so many other things happening on the macro right now that point to appreciation in crypto. DOT is no exception. It's not going to run unless the conditions are right. I talk about that on my channel all the time. You can find the link in the bio. Anyway, let's take a look at this now. So first things first, I'm going to draw out our first range here, going back to, I'm going to make this bigger. We'll do that for now. Going back to that 2021 high, you can tell, you know, where we're at right now. Price wants to get stopped out around that 15.5 billion mark right here. Support, breaks through, breakdown, right? Resistance, and here we are. So that's, I mean, still a 5x from where we're at right now, but something to keep in mind. So we want to be able to close out this macro range at some point. First thing I want to do is check wave 1 to 2. Yep, that exceeded it in the past. What about wave 3 to 4 back here in the past? Nope, have not exceeded that yet. So we haven't closed that range out. And then we see that we do have this entire macro range still to close out as well. What I do notice is we have a little bit of confluence up here around the 141 billion mark. Again, that would be quite a bit of juice. I'm not sure we're going to see it yet. So we'll bring this back into play here in a little bit. This high was the Trump pump high, right? Where a lot of the market, we're taking a lot of the measurements from that point in time. Well, when I draw that out, what do I notice from a confluence perspective? Bam, the 3618 of this last crash, going back to, you know, the end of 2024, last 12 months, 3618 pinpoint nails an all-time high. And it certainly looks like a double top type situation. So that is a ton of confluence right there. And back in 2021, when we saw things that had 4+ year ranges, things that were still at lows from 2017 to 2021, a majority of those did not go off into new all-time highs. A majority of them only did a retracement. So it could make complete sense here for this thing to hit a double top and then reject for DOT, at least on the market cap. Again, we'll talk about price in a minute. Additionally, always a good possibility is, again, in an alt season, for this thing to go hit a full extension and a 4236 puts us about 10 billion higher. You can see back here, this was an alt season. From right here to here, you got about a 10x in that move, right? For an alt season in 2021. Well, where are we at right now? Even getting back up to that high, we're talking a 17x, right? If we were looking to move the same, all right, where's our 11x technically, 10,003. brings us like right into this level here where we do see a retracement right around 35 billion. So not saying that that's going to be the case, but it is something to think about, especially when you see there's some confluence points right here. We see the 2618 of this range and the 702 of the broader range intersect right here around 40 billion. Now let's talk about why that's important. This, I'm going to get rid of this near term range. This area, the 618 to 786 is the danger zone in retracements. Oftentimes, you'll see price run up into this level, and that ends up being the rollover zone before another major leg down. Okay. So that is a risk because we find that confluence in there between a few of those ranges. And in the event that dot doesn't keep going in an alt season environment, that's a logical place for it to stop off. And again, I know it's disappointing because you didn't technically set a new high, but that's still an 11x from where you're at. More than that from where you're at right now. So definitely going to be keeping an eye up there on the $41 billion range too. So we'll call that our conservative. All right. So looking at this, I have a couple targets that I need to make sure clear. 40, this 40 billion, wherever we are at in that point in time, where is the rest of the market? If the rest of the market has more gas in it, well, we're probably looking at some of these higher ones we talked about. If it exceeds the 65, which is possible, we have all these numbers up here. I'm not comfortable saying that that's the highest probability play right now. This area that we're talking about between 40 and 65 billion is the highest probability area where dot's going to end up. So enough talking, guys. Just tell us where we're headed. 1171 from the current price. And this is our conservative. So let's say 1171. It's about as close as I'm going to get. Right around 24 bucks. 24.50 it looks like for a conservative move. All right. What about our primary? This double top. Again, double top on the market cap doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a double top on the price. So 1656, and it's not. And that's where you see the inflation come in. Right up there around 33.25, right? Because you see here, that's a double top. That would be like price getting all the way up to 54. If people are playing the USD price chart and not paying attention to the market cap, they're going to get stopped out short waiting for higher prices, guys. You have to pay attention to the tokenomics, all right? And then this last one, we're talking about 1983. And again, this has surpassed any run that it's had thus far. So 1983, that's still not even a new high. Let's see. It's going to be like 40 bucks on the dot. Right around there. We'll give it a 40. So I'm looking conservatively 24.50. My primary is going to be 33.22. And my secondary is going to be right up there at the $40 mark. And you guys see how we did it. Again, I am fine being wrong. If this thing wants to go ahead and rip through these, well, we have more targets to talk about. And I will keep you guys in the loop throughout alt season. But we have to stay flexible during all of this turmoil right now. We have to make sure we're paying attention to the counts and we're paying attention to the broader macro. Your individual altcoins don't matter as much as the whole macro. And that's exactly why I put together the Quantum Circle, real-time trades, access to my portfolio, 2 macro analysis videos every single day, a Discord channel, and I teach you how to do TA. Link to that is in the bio. If not, thank you so much for being here. If you could follow, like, repost. I want to get this out to as many people as I can before it's too late. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.